In today's video, we're going to be looking at the medium tractors. We're going to go through all of the stats and we're going to decide which is the best value tractor for you to use on your farm. We're going to take into consideration things like power, weight distribution, what type of gearbox it is, and how much fuel. As an added bonus, we might also take into consideration top speed and other factors like using a front loader as well. So jump in with me and see which is the best tractor for you to use on your farm in the medium category. When looking at the medium tractors, it is important to note that a lot of these have much more customization available, more cosmetic changes than actual functionality. What is nice is that a lot of these medium tractors do have a front loader attacher option, as well as also some front weights and other things like weighted tires and things. As always, we will go through the power, the cost, the gearbox, the fuel, and the speed. Weight does play a small piece, but in the medium tractors, you're generally going to be heavy enough to deal with most tasks and, more importantly, most tools. So, starting from the Massey Ferguson MF7S, we are looking at £149,500. It's going to have anywhere between 155 and 210 horsepower. It does have a variable CVT gearbox, which, as we know, is the best gearbox, 305 litres of fuel, and a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. For a starting bid in the tractors of the medium capacity, it's not bad at all. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but it's got everything you'd need and a fairly hefty 155 horsepower at base. Next, you've got the Challenger MT600 series and the AGCO White 8010 series, which is basically the same tractor, just a reskin. They are very, very cheap at £58,500. They do come with 160 horsepower up to 225 horsepower, but they only have a power shift gearbox. They have a rather impressive 454 litres of fuel capacity and a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. However, the price is offset by that gearbox, and as they are older style tractors, they do struggle a bit with more in-depth equipment and stuff on the farm. They also do not have the ability for a front loader attacher. They only come with a front weight. The Z-Tour Crystal HD is £130,000, so it is cheaper than the MF7S. However, it has 171 horsepower at base, a manual and power shift gearbox, 300 litres of fuel capacity, 40 kilometers per hour top speed. So it's slower than the Massey Ferguson. It has more base horsepower and it is cheaper. However, again, the gearbox in the Massey Ferguson is much better and the Massey Ferguson has a higher top speed. Next, we've got the Kabuto M8 series, which is £153,500, which is quite a bit more than the MF7S. It does come with more horsepower, a variable CVT gearbox, 375 litres of fuel capacity, and 50 kilometers per hour top speed. As tractors go, it's pretty damn awesome. Next, you've got the John Deere 6R series. This is very, very pricey for what it is. It's £182,000. For this, however, you do get 192 horsepower at base and goes all the way up to 234 horsepower. It does have a variable CVT gearbox and 280 litres of fuel capacity, which is less than some of the other tractors showcased. It does, however, still go 50 kilometers per hour. The Fendt 700 Vario is the really pricey bid on this selection. It starts at £249,500. It does start with 203 horsepower and go all the way up to 303, and it does have a variable CVT gearbox. It also has one of the largest fuel capacities at 450 litres. It goes 50 kilometers per hour at top speed. As good as this tractor is, the price is really off-putting here, as a lot of these other tractors don't come anywhere near that price bracket. The Valtra is a really interesting tractor in this slot because the Valtras typically have a lot of customization available. Granted, they are mostly cosmetic changes, but it's still really nice to see that level of detail in the design. Functionality-wise, it's not a bad tractor either. It comes with a decent amount of options from engine range all the way from 210 to 271 and front loader attachments. It does, however, have a manual and power shift gearbox, 380 litres of fuel capacity and a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. The Case IH Puma AFS Connect is a really nice tractor as well, starting at 224 horsepower, going all the way up to 302. It does have a variable CVT gearbox and 390 litres of fuel capacity. Has a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. It is quite pricey at £239,500. Overall, it's still quite a bit cheaper than the Vario, and you're only really missing out on 1 horsepower. The New Holland T7 LWB PLM is basically a reskin of the case in this instance. It is exactly the same amount of money. It does come with the 224 to 302 horsepower, the variable CVT gearbox, 390 litres of fuel capacity, and 50 kilometers per hour top speed. The Steyr Absolute CVT is again £239,500 with the same stats as the New Holland and the Case IH. The Do It's Fair AgroStar 8.31 is a really nice old school tractor and very nice at the price as well. Costing £89,500, comes with a bog standard 230 horsepower, power shift gearbox, 367 litres of fuel capacity, and a top speed of only 40 kilometers per hour. The more modern Do It's Fair Series 7 TTV HD, however, comes in at a whopping £251,500. Has a bog standard 247 horsepower, variable CVT gearbox, a nice fuel capacity at 505 litres, and a top speed of a whopping 60 kilometers per hour. The McCormick X8 VT drive comes in at £262,000, has 264 to 310 horsepower, a variable CVT gearbox, 550 litres of fuel capacity, and a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. The big boy Do It's Fair Series 8 TTV comes in at a whopping £267,000. A bog standard 287 horsepower, variable CVT gearbox, 505 litres fuel capacity, and a top speed of again a blistering 60 kilometers per hour. All in all, this is a very, very good selection of tractors. However, I believe that your best option really is going to be your Massey Ferguson. As much as other tractors do compete quite well, overall cost is so low for what you get that it just really is a very good choice. And at 155 to 210 horsepower, you're really going to be struggling to beat it for most medium jobs on the farm. A close second would probably be the John Deere at £182,000 because it has the 192 to 234 horsepowers. But again, compared to the Massey Ferguson, there is no comparison because you get more horsepower out of the Massey Ferguson itself. And like I said, there are a lot of customization options here, which will tack a fair amount onto the price, but it's still going to be cheaper than the John Deere. You can have the efficient or the exclusive interior, which really does change the feel of it and reduces the cost by £6,000. You can have many different front mountings between weights and your three-point attacher, and you can have a front loader attachment as well. All in, with all upgrades that you want, you're still only going to be paying £178,000 for this machine. That is a lot of tractor for not a lot of money. It really is the best value tractor you can get in the medium section. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.